Hello guys, Beast here. Finally we are almost ready to start programming. So in this episode we will understand how coding works and what is the difference between computer language, primitive language and elite language. So stay tuned. Before we move on, let's solve the two questions from last episode. 1. Everest is the highest mountain in the world. The negation of this proposition is Everest is the lowest mountain of the world. Now, answer true or false. Of course, this is false. We have learned that the negation is not the opposite, so the right answer should be Everest is not the highest mountain. 2. If 2 is bigger than 3, then 2 equals 3. Is this proposition true or false? This is true, and here's why. 2 is not bigger than 3, which means it doesn't matter what we say after that. It's always true, and here's the table if you have forgotten. If you still don't understand that, just make sure to replay the video a couple of times. Sometimes it takes you a bit longer to grasp the idea, but anyway, don't forget, always, if you still have problems, you can ask me down in the comment section below. Now let's head to today's topic. So far we have learned that the computer language consists of zeros and ones. Now I'm not gonna go to specifics of how exactly the computer interprets binary language to all the different games you can see, even the colors that you can see on your screen, even the normal language, right? Because you can see English on the screen or any other foreign language, right? I'm not gonna talk about how the binary, like zeros and ones, can change to letters, right? But this is actually the fun part of programming language. You don't need to understand how the computer does it. Or at least for now. Maybe later on when we are more advanced we can learn that, but for now we don't even need to understand that, and that's the beauty of the computer language, programming language. It helps you make it way easier. Now let's see, if we put the computer language or machine language here, then there is something called assembly right on top of the border, which is a primitive language. Right on the border with the machine language. What assembly does, it makes it a bit easier for us to code, but still very close to the machine language, which makes it not that comfortable to work with. When you type your code with assembly, then you have something called assembler to help you interpret your code to binary code. Assembler is a program that takes basic computer instructions and converts them into a pattern of bits that the computer's processor can use to perform its basic operations. These instructions are called the assembly language that I just told you about. Let's understand what I just said with an example. Hello world in binary code looks something like that. And of course this is only the way it is presented in the memory. We need still to store it, maybe to make some variables for it, to print it out to the screen. Look how many lines it took us just to type it out. This is only hello world, no printing to the screen or any other stuff. While in assembly language it looks like that. Although it is still somewhat unreadable, but yet way easier to code it than just typing zeros and ones, right? You see the difference. Now after the assembly language comes the elite language, and it is actually almost all the programming languages you have heard about, like Java, C, C++, Python, PHP, and many more. The elite languages are very comfortable to work with, since they are almost like typing English. It's like you talk to the computer and tell it what to do. Look at this line, print hello world. This will print to the screen hello world. Look how readable it is and how easy it is. Of course, in different languages it would have different variations. For example, in C, it is printf hello world, while in Java it is system.out.println hello world. As you can see in the both cases, it's really easy. It's like you are talking to the computer and tell it, please print for me hello world. You see, this is not only the phrase hello world, it also does its job and print it out to the screen or wherever you want to print it out to. Basically, the closest language to the computer language is called primitive language, since it is very close to the computer to understand it. And languages that are almost how we talk in our day-to-day life are called elite languages. But still, since the computer doesn't understand our human language, it only understands zeros and ones, as we already know, we need something to convert it to the computer language. Intercompiler! This is the compiler's job. We just code in an elite language of our choice. And then the compiler's job is to translate it to either directly to the machine language or into assembly, and then let the assembler take care of the rest. In the next episode, we will talk about the compiler. I didn't want to include it in this tutorial since I might need to reference the compiler video later on, when we start learning coding. So stay tuned for the compiler video, because after that we are ready to start our programming lessons. If you found it helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to get notified when my next video is up. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comment section below, and I'll try my best to answer your questions. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. See ya.